What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Part-Time Artist Podcast. This is episode 197. And my goodness, did you tune into a great podcast today? In this episode, we are talking all types of stuff. We are talking about being a full-time artist. We're talking about collaborating. We're talking about positivity, being a more positive person. We're talking about dealing with record labels. We're talking about mentorship. We're talking about all types of stuff to help you stay creative and to help you be a better artist. That's what this show is all about. It's all about, and that's what this YouTube channel is also about. All right, so the best way to the best way to support the podcast is to subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm so excited about subscribing that I'm throwing it in there when it doesn't even belong in the sentence yet. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. It is full of content to help empower you as a creative person, as an artist, as an introvert, as an empathic person, whatever. We got it here on this YouTube channel. It's the best way to support me, to support the podcast. There's also a couple other ways you can support the podcast. If you need a new cell phone plan, check out Visible. That's what I use, and the setup is super quick. It's like $20 a month, and you get a great new cell phone plan. Keep your number if you want. Get a new number if you need to get away from your ex. Keep your phone if you want to keep your phone. So check out the Visible link down there. There's also a link if you want to be like me and make 2025 your year to join a gym and start working out. Click that link and sign up for Planet Fitness just like I did. And pretty soon I'm going to have another link, I think, if I get one, about the sauna box. I've been doing a lot of saunas lately. This show is about wellness. I am about wellness, not just, artistically, but as a human being. And, being the best version of you is also being the best artist. Hello, they go hand in hand. Everybody thinks artists have to be all gloom and doom and, depressed and all this stuff. That is such a thing of the past. You can be a positive artist now. You can be healthy. You don't have to die at 27 anymore. And we definitely talk about that in this episode. You tuned into a great episode. Let's just jump right on in. All right, I have with me a very, very special guest from right here in the great place of Philadelphia. I have Shug Daniels, or should I say Sugarbird?
Sugarbird Daniels.
Sugarbird Daniels. For those that don't know, I typed Shug Daniels into my notes app and it auto-corrected Shug to Sugarbird. So now
That's cute.
Yeah, I think that's a good. When we start our collective, it'll be called Sugarbird. Now, let's talk about you a little bit, okay? First of all, before we even get into the show, which I am so stoked to, this has been a long time coming, by the way, over just about a year, because you were so awesome to share your song with me that came out 2 years ago, I think today. When I'm Gone, awesome single. You shared that with me. That was on the radio show last year. So this has been a long time coming to have you on the show. And before we get started here, I wanted to ask you, I feel like I know the answer to this, but I still want to hear it. Other than music, what is one artistic skill that you wish you had that you maybe don't?
Honestly, if I could pick one thing, it would be convenient, and I feel like it would be so fun to also express myself in this way. Is like just more visual art. Like I love photography, but I also feel like you ever see, and I know this might sound funny, but you ever see like a graphic design that is like on point as hell? You're like, that's it. The mood, the texture, everything about it. I wish I was better at that. It definitely wouldn't help as far as like it's something that I have to pay for a lot. But also, when I see it and it's good, I love
Yeah.
it. I've been painting. I've been doing like Bob Ross paintings too, just because I'm like I'm just trying to get better. Like as a
Yeah.
date night with my partner, we're always looking for ways to like not spend $1 billion on a nice fun date night, and mostly just spending time together is just so beautiful. So
Right.
keeping it spicy with a little Bob Ross,
Yes.
little rose, little wine, little Bob Ross.
Every weekend there's a marathon. Shout out to the Bob Ross YouTube channel. Every weekend there's a marathon. I honestly, when I was thinking about this question, I think I kind of wish I did more theater. I love being on stage. Like I just want to be on stage any way I can. And theater is like one thing that I never really did. And it feels like just something that would be in my wheelhouse. I've done a little bit of background acting for like TV shows. But I feel like
I see that for you.
yeah, I feel like I could be, I don't know, maybe I'll be one of those dudes that like when they're like 50 years old, like somehow they go for it being an actor.
You don't have to wait though. I feel like acting is kind of one of those things. It's like music. It's like you can go to school for it, but you don't have to if you're just
Right.
like naturally good at it. You know what I'm saying? I did take a little theater in school. I did a little bit of adult theater when I still lived in Delaware and stuff, and
Yes.
it was really fun. It's really time consuming
Yeah.
to learn all those lines. And I feel like the last one I did was a musical. I mostly just wanted to do it because the music director was phenomenal, and he was also a vocal coach. So I was kind of killing two birds with one stone. I was kind of like having an excuse to kind of like dibble dabble in something that I do that I also enjoy, but then also I was like trying to up my singing game. I was trying to get some free lessons. Really, I was just there for the free vocal lessons.
Yeah. And you take those where you can get them, honestly, because they're not cheap. Let's talk about When I'm Gone. 2 years old now, and what's so awesome about music is music can like be a time capsule for our lives. Those of us songwriters out there, that's definitely the case. What do you remember about 2 years ago? Because for me personally, 2023, I believe, was such a transformational year for me. What about for you? What do you remember about Suge Daniels 2023?
Oh my God, is this song 1 year or 2 years old? I don't even know. It might be two. But I know I wrote this song
right
in like 2021. So as far as the release, that's always like something you kind of put on your calendar. But to think about where I was when I wrote the song is totally different than when I released the song, right? So I wrote the song because I like these feelings. Okay, so my first single is a song called Heavy, right? And it's this very like, oh, I'm like, does my friend have feelings for me? I don't know. Those lines are blurry. I'm not sure how to approach the conversation. And honestly, When I'm Gone is like the flip side of that. When I'm Gone is like, listen, I know you like me. I don't know why you acting like you don't. So let me just be like, are you trying to holler at me or what? Like that's what the whole vibe or the whole flip of the song is about. So it's kind of like, yeah, it's the same subject, just like flipped on its ear. It's like there's the soft conversation about like maybe we should be more than friends, and then there's just like a straight come at this shorty and she looking good, and I'm just like, listen, you've been looking at me. I don't know why we don't just go ahead.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Yeah, that is hilarious. Now, if you could go back to yourself at that time, what is like one thing you would tell yourself? Maybe while you're writing this song or when you put it out. What do you think you would tell yourself from back then?
Leave space in it to feature a rapper. I think that is one of my biggest regrets with this song. And maybe I'll do a re-release later, but I feel like that song would be so good with a rapper on it. There's like a break, and especially like at the end, it like moves into this groovy bit. And looking back, I love this song. I think it's really fun. It's super fun to play live with a full band. But I feel like that energy and like the attitude, especially like explaining it like this, like you just like kind of talking your, can we cuss on this? Is this like, Do you be cussing on your podcast? Just like talking trash,
Oh.
just like saying what you just saying, talking
You had me.
you know?
I thought you froze. You were so still. I was like,
I
oh
was
no,
waiting.
did my internet go out again?
I'm not trying to get canceled on.
No. You're free to express yourself in any way.
You got talking shit. You got talking shit. You gotta take that part out. People are gonna be like, "Oh, they froze."
No, that's so funny. No, that's hilarious. No, yeah, there is that element of this song too, where I think, are they electronic drums on this song?
Oh, okay. So yeah, it's a really, really old machine. I can't remember the name of it, but it's like It was one of the earlier beat machines. And my friend Sam Nobles, we're both from Delaware. We both moved to Philadelphia at different times, and of course, we're making music together. I love my Delaware family. And another one of our friends from Delaware happened to just have this like really old beat machine. And one day we were in the studio and we were just like cooking up some music. We just love to record. At any given time, I have a song I could be recording with somebody. So we, made some time, and he was like, we should use this machine before he sells it because he's got it on. He had it on like reverb or something. So we were like, all right, let's like crank out a song with it. But yeah, there's like these really cool old school funky beat machine that was just, we hit record and put a microphone next to it, and then we EQ'd it up.
Wow. Interesting, because it does, that makes a lot of sense now, because I was like, this sounds a lot like an electronic, drum machine thing, but it doesn't like feel like it. It's one of those in between places. Yeah. And that makes a lot of sense now that it's both. It's mic'd up drums and a beat machine. Interesting. All right, well, let's get into this song before we get any further so everybody knows what we're talking about. This song is called When I'm Gone. Check it out.
Days go by, I wonder if you notice. You're so high up in your sky-rise apartment. What am I supposed to do until I see you again? I'm not possessive, but I'm obsessed with the chance. I said I need to know, baby. Do you miss me when I'm gone? Do you? Hey. Do you miss me when I'm gone? I know you got a girlfriend, but darling, I don't mind. Between you's between you. I'm not here to change your mind. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not obsessive. I'm not the jealous type. Ain't me, baby. Ain't me, baby. I wanna know what you're into, because I want to do it right. But first I got to know. Touch my body, don't you wanna drive me crazy? Don't you wanna make it with me? Baby, don't you wanna touch my body? Don't you wanna drive me crazy? Don't you wanna make it with me? I can't believe she said yes, yes, yes. So I
All right, that tune is called When I'm Gone, and it's Shug Daniels, S-U-G Daniels.bandcamp.com to get that tune. Now, this tune is really cool because this tune is also featured on a record label. And I know that there's a lot of artists out there that they think that's all they need, that opportunity to be on a record label, and then all their dreams are going to come true. It's all downhill. I'm riding the gravy train. What is the reality of working with a record label? What was your experience, and how do you keep up with your mansion?
Yeah, right. I wish. Well, okay, so Don Giovanni is like iconic, epic. Screaming Females is probably like, I feel like one of the biggest breakout artists that they had.
Mm-hmm.
But they also like had Patchy. Just, you look online. It's
The
a lot of
a lot of stuff.
Yeah. And even still, like, has some really, really good rodeo boys around there right now. And yeah, they're phenomenal. We had only did a single release because that's all I really had prepared at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Joe was awesome. I can't even necessarily remember who found who, but I remember they reached out and they were like, "Your music is great. Are you putting anything else out? I'd love to take you out." And we got some food, and
wow,
I feel like it was a perfect opportunity, to kind of like dip my toe into what it's like to be on a label. I was on another label before that, another indie label. At the time, they were called Weird Sister Records, but now they're called, I think, Final Girl or Final Sister Records. I can't remember the name.
Okay.
Yeah, but labels are cool nowadays. The indie label doesn't usually have a lot of money to back you. Also, you have to remember that when you do sign to a label, if you are getting money, they're not giving it to you; they're lending it to you. You have to make that money before you ever see a penny from that you're going to benefit from.
Right.
So it's really like so it's like a big loan. I think that some labels, of course, are going to be better fitted and suited for you than other labels, but I just feel like nowadays there's so much groundwork that you can do all by yourself. There's just nothing like organic growth. I feel like it was super fun to be on both of those labels, but nothing has gotten me more notoriety or success other than just like continuing to write music, play shows, and make genuine connections with not only the people who come to see me, but the other artists that I'm playing with. Collaboration is such a big way to just get yourself out there. Yeah, labels are great because maybe they can get you some attention.
Sure.
There's so much that you can do and should do for yourself before signing anything, because once you sign, they're going to have rights to your music. You have to go to them before you can like do any kind of licensing a lot of times, or they're going to take a percentage of your music, for years and years to come. Contracts can always be a little, shaky, and that's not to say not to do it. It's just, there's a lot that you can do and keep 100% of your royalties and your masters and your intellectual property and your image before. So it's kind of like, where you at with it? What do you want to do? And what can they offer? Do they have a press agent on their team? Do they have a booking agent on their team? Is there something else, even besides money, that they're going to be able to help you with, other than just, distributing your music? Because some distribution, websites they're not all created equal, but, is different nowadays. It's different.
Now, Don Giovanni, just being in, I grew up in New York City and in the punk scene in Brooklyn, and that's how I knew Don Giovanni, because there were, quite a few Brooklyn punk bands. I feel like this is a funny question, knowing, your music and where you come from, but did the thought ever cross your mind to maybe like, should I start a punk band? Like, should I start writing more aggressive stuff for Don Giovanni? Or were you just like, no. I got what I got, this is me?
Yeah. I'm 34 years old. Like, if they wanted to, they came to me for the music that I made. So, and anyone that I met a lot of the team down at South by Southwest, and everybody was so sweet.
Yeah.
And everybody kind of made different versions of rock, but there was like a folky string duo, and it was like two older guys. I think one used to be a skateboarder, and then when they one played a banjo and the other one played a guitar, and they were phenomenal, So I feel like the label if anybody comes to you and like, don't change what you're doing, right? Because I got the attention from labels by playing weird little ukulele music, so I don't need to switch it up. I don't need to do that. They didn't come to me for punk music. They came to me for that weird ass ukulele music. So that's what I do. I gotta give them some more ukulele beat machine stuff,
If it ain't broke. Now let's talk about something. You and I have quite a few things in common. And one of my favorite things that we have in common is not only do you and I have YouTube channels, but you and I have covers of the same Shania Twain song. And I encourage everybody to go out there and side by side our covers of You're Still the One. I got a punk version. You have a solo ukulele version. I think it's hilarious that out of all.
You know what? Okay, so I did not know that. I can't wait to finish this up so I can take a little sneak peek. But I actually don't play ukulele on that. My friend Sam Nobles, who does the production on When I'm Gone, plays all the instruments on that for me.
Wait a minute. So there's an official recording of this?
Yeah.
Okay, I only saw the video of you playing ukulele by yourself.
Yeah. No, there's a really beautiful version. It's not on Bandcamp because Bandcamp can be a little funny sometimes about covers. But it is on all the rest of the streaming platform, like YouTube and Spotify.
Yeah.
But
that's hilarious. Now we both have covers to check out when we get off this call, and so do you guys. So it is at Shug Daniels is the YouTube, and there's so much more on your YouTube channel besides the Shania Twain cover. Same thing with me. But one of the things that you touch on, and this is something that really hits close to home for me because it's one of my like passions and one of my goals with my YouTube channel is to establish a community for mentorship for artists. And that's something that you highlight on one of your videos, and on a bunch of your videos, the things that you talk about. It's one of the things that you talk about is how important mentorship is and how important it was for you as an artist and stuff like that. What is one piece of advice or something that has stuck with you in your journey as an artist that you picked up from your mentorship?
Yeah. Oh man, so much. I definitely want to also say that like mentors don't always have to be someone who's like way older than you. Sometimes just having someone in your circle that knows more than you. Right. So like I've already brought up Sam Nobles twice. I'm gonna bring him up again. He went to like music school and, he just knew a lot of the math of music, but we were good friends. So if I come to him, or when I come to him and we're talking about music, it opens up my mind to be able to think about music in different ways. I remember one time when I was like I was kind of like in that in-between moment of like, I'm making almost enough to quit my day job, but I'm a little afraid to quit my day job because like, what if, I don't know, I failed? That was basically it. That was like, and I remember being in the studio with Sam and talking about this. And he said, well, and kind of just like what I was saying earlier, you got to this point because you're good at what you do. You're dedicated. Every day you're working at your craft, you're working at the business part of it. And as long as you continue to do those things, you're only going to continue to get opportunities coming your way. And yeah, it was true. It was true. Every day there's more and more beautiful things coming my way, and I feel really blessed. But I feel like trusting myself really came with being around the right people, the right mentors that basically were just like very encouraging. You can do it. Like you're here because you're good at what you do. And sometimes like I feel, especially as musicians, in this like capitalistic society where we're always, it gets easy to forget what we're even doing it for.
Yeah.
It's easy, it's easy to forget that. So when you just have somebody who's like been doing it full time for for a decade, for way longer than you have, to just be like, oh no, you're on the right path. Like you have all the parts of that recipe to do this thing that you want to do. That's phenomenal.
Something that you just touched on too, and I think it's apparent in your music, it's definitely apparent in your live show, is you have an innate positivity. It's just coming off of you in so many different ways. Where did that come from? And is it natural at this point, or is it one of those things that you really had to kind of rewire into yourself?
Yeah, I'm a human like everybody else. It definitely was not something I think that I was necessarily born with. I grew up, I had a single mom, 3 kids, and then for a very long time, it was just us. And then when she did remarry, the marriage was not very healthy. My family broke up. I lived with my grandma on several occasions. Section 8 food stamps, lights going off. So I feel like when you grow up like that, you're either going to split into like 2 ways, right? You're either going to be like, we can do it, we can survive, here's the bright side, here's what I learned, here's how to do better tomorrow, or you're going to feel like a constant state of like devastation and getting caught in like, one more thing, like what else can go wrong? Right. And I feel like, I started going to therapy when I was early 20s because of a friend. I think I had some conversation. I don't remember what exactly I said, but I remember they got quiet and they were like, you ever thought about going to therapy? And at the time I grew up in a Christian household, and, just classic African-American trope of like, just you can pray it away. And I'm a very spiritual person. I'm not religious, but I felt that praying wasn't enough. I needed to talk to somebody about some of the things that I had went through. And I think therapy gave me a lot of the tools that I needed to, turn my life around and to kind of like to take charge, and be like, these things happen. But the best stories start like that, like the best musicians, they were suffering. And they were able to transmute that suffering into something, in some kind of beacon, and if I had to go through that kind of like, very interesting and unfortunate childhood, the best thing that I could do now is continue to live and to shine a light on the fact that just because you grow up in like, some desolate situations does not mean that your life has to end like that.
And this is also,
so a bit is a survival.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because that's pretty much it, man. There's you could, look on the bright side. What's the opposite of that? The dark side, right? Yeah. It's a choice. It can be a choice. There's something really cool when I saw Suge at Suge Daniels, when I saw her at Suge Daniels, when I saw Suge at World Cafe. Okay, something when you opened up for Sam Rise. Huge fan of Sam. Yeah. I took a piece of Sam Rise's merch, and it's on the back of my door. I can't see it, but it says it's time we're getting back to brighter days.
Yeah.
So I gotta shout out Sam and Suge for always having that bright side approach. I think it's something that is sometimes missing in the creative community too, because I think that there's a lot of, like you said, we're in this capitalist society. There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of victimization. There's a lot of stuff to be bummed out about. That's for sure. And a lot of people use music as that outlet to just kind of, I know I've done this, like you're just writing songs that are about you being bummed out, So it's really cool to like work on going against the grain with that a little bit. Something you also talk about, and I wanted to ask you this before we get into this next song, something you also talk about on this YouTube channel is touring and playing shows. And in this day and age, 2025, it seems like people are having different ideas of what to do with the industry and how to invest in themselves as artists, if it's worth it to get on the road or if it's better to put together ad campaigns or whatever. What is your, and I've talked to some artists about this too, where we kind of think, you know, the 2-week tour is pretty much the sweet spot. What is your sweet spot when it comes to playing shows? What have you discovered is the most fulfilling or successful or makes you feel the best when it comes to like getting out there?
Yeah, so I have like two kind of like ways that I like to tour.
Okay.
One, and this is like kind of, you know, it's just meeting the right people and being at the right place at the right time with the right thing, is being added as a support act for other musicians. Last year I was blessed to travel with Adeem the Artist, so I did a run with them. And then I did a run with William Elliott Whitmore, a phenomenal folk musician, both of them in their own rights. And that was just because I worked. I did a festival. I did Sing Us Home Festival, and the company that was booking a lot of the music for that also booked me. And, you know, it had a proximity clause. Well, I was good. You know, I'm on top of emails. I try to get back, you know, we had a little bit of time, but usually I get back and forth pretty quick, especially when it comes to booking and it comes to money, because mama got to get paid. So they were like, you know, you can't perform here for the next like month, which is a long time for me. So they were like, you know, we have an artist that we're sending out. Would you want to do some dates? And they were great, because then you can just go, you're a support act. So yeah, booking agencies,
wow,
be nice to them. And respond, even if you can't do something, let them know ahead of time, because you never know. Everybody in the industry is always moving around, so you never know who you're working with and where they're going to end up. You're kind, you're sweet, you send the stuff. You know that they're going to ask for the same 3 things when they say assets. They're going to ask for a picture, a bio, send them a live video, and send them your goddamn social media tags. Like, send them all the stuff. And maybe I don't even let them ask for it anymore. I already know they're going to ask for it. Just send it. But that kind of stuff, you know, it makes you look reliable in the industry. So I just tell everybody, try to stay on top of your business game as much as you can. I know as musicians and artists, it can be so out of our wheelhouse sometimes, and on the other side, left side of the brain, but it pays. It really, really does benefit you in the end. And the second way I like to tour is, I feel like people don't realize how much of just an hour, 2 hours out from where you live, it can really, really change the game. There's like all these different markets. Like, you know, sometimes people might think of just Pennsylvania as like Pittsburgh and Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But there's so much all in between that are an hour and a half away. So I can play like, you know, Glenside or Allentown or Bethlehem, and then I can play Philadelphia, and it's not the same market, but I can come home. I don't have to stay out and sleep on anybody's couch. I can come home the same night. So definitely just hitting markets, just seeing what venues are in your area before you go all the way out to California, or even all the way down to South by Southwest, and you don't even really know anybody. Like, you're paying all that money to go to a place where nobody knows you, when you can kind of just keep creeping. And then you just do, you know, you hit that circle, then you hit that circle again, then you hit that circle again.
Yeah, and
you make friends.
Back. Yeah. And it just grows from there. This is such a crash course, y'all. This is a really this is a crash course in this, because when you go to ShugDaniels.com, you can see this is we're walking the walk and talking the talk here, because the Delaware Valley shows, there's no shortage of them on your on ShugDaniels.com/tour. You got a bunch of them. And another thing that I notice about you, it's pretty much like Thursday, Saturday, you know, a couple Wednesdays in there. So there's like, it's like, you know, you take what you can get, but you also, you know, there's it looks like you're trying things out too. Like, do you notice when you're playing a Wednesday, like, do you kind of know what to expect? Oh, I'm playing a Wednesday in Woodbridge Township, New Jersey, like, and then I'm playing Saturday, you know, in King of Prussia, right? Like, so there's gonna be a difference there. How do you like, before we get into the song, I just want to say, well, how do you like the Delaware Valley scene? What's your take on it all?
If you put me anywhere in the country, I'm going to make music. You know, I think it's just the folk. I've been working the folk Americana scene. Genres don't really mean much to me. I just try to figure out what audience likes what I do. I think it's better for you to just do the thing that makes you happy. and then figure out how to market it. You don't change your art, just change your marketing. And that honestly open up the world for you. So the Americana folk scene, they want to hear women of color singing music. I don't have to beg these people to come see me. They love what I do already. So, I'm playing this ukulele stuff. I didn't write it to be like anything in particular. I was just writing music that spoke to me. But then I signed to the first label that I was signed to, and they were kind of like younger, a lot of like, more rock and roll kind of situation. And that wasn't quite my crowd. But then I started to get Black Opry shows. And Black Opry was an organization very similar to the Roots Revival Show that just get a collective of Black musicians, and they send us on these writers' rounds. And, they were like supposed to be country folk. And I didn't at the time identify as that. But then I've seen how much that crowd loved what I did and how well the response was. So I was like, okay, I guess this is what this is called. But it doesn't really matter to me, So, and in this area, just for that particular genre, it does have a lot of, it's got some listening rooms. Yeah. It's got, a lot of places that I can play. So.
It reminds me of like I have a coach that I'm working with for my YouTube channel, and something that's great that I've learned from him is that YouTube is trying to find the audience for the video that you're putting out. So it's like, and life is a lottery, like when YouTube finds the right audience, then you're probably going to get a lot of clicks. When you put out a YouTube video and YouTube struggles to put it in front of people that want to see that type of content, then you're probably not going to get a lot of clicks. And it's kind of the same way where we go out there and play shows. Like we realize, holy shit, like Woodbridge, New Jersey wants to see ukulele music, so we gotta come back here. We don't have to go all the way to wherever, Princeton or I don't know, whatever cities there are out there in New Jersey. This is such a crash course, y'all. This is amazing. All right, we're gonna get into another tune here. This tune is called Sip the Years. This is with Shane Palko. Check it out. right, that tune was called Sip the Years. Now, let's talk about collaborating. We mentioned collaborating and mentorship and learning from other people. You have a bunch of songs where you're collaborating with people, and you have a new collaborative project that is the Roots Revival, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But let's talk about collaboration. First of all, what makes a good collaborator? What makes for a good collaboration? How do we become good collaborators?
For me, I can only speak for me, but if we gotta be able to vibe and be like feel like childlike and creative. If I feel uncomfortable or nervous working with someone, then the music is probably not going to be a good representation of what the best thing that I can create. Like, I think that it's cool sometimes to get like a big name on a song or a record, but I think my best songs, my best collaborations were with my friends, and we were just so pumped to make something great together. And then you can, because recording is a whole other kind of performance and art in itself. It's a whole completely different thing. So when you're comfortable in the studio with your friends and you're having a good time and you're cheering each other on, you can hear that in the track. Like, you can hear that fun in When I'm Gone, because me and Sam are just goofing around. I'm like, all right, run it back. I'm gonna get it this time. You can hear it when it comes to some of these songs. You can hear the smile and hear the joy and so that's my biggest thing. And that's just for me. That's what works for me. But
what is with these latest collaborations you've put out? You know, you're collaborating with the Roots Revival. We just heard that tune with Shane, and then we're gonna hear another tune later on. Where you collaborated with John Faye. What's one thing that you've learned from these latest collaborations?
I think it is that the more fun and the more comfortable I am with the artist that I'm collaborating with, the better the song is going to be, and like really trusting each other, right? Like if you someone to be on a song with you and they do something that's a little different than maybe you would have done it, you have to trust this is that artist. This is how that artist interprets this emotion or this idea or this feeling. So to let them do their thing and to trust that they're good at what they do. That's why you're collaborating. That's why you're collaborating with them. So yeah, having trust in the process, and having fun. You gotta have fun. This industry is full of ups and downs. And I always say that when the music is not fun, it's okay if you go to a show and you're like, that wasn't my best show. That wasn't, maybe, you got to play a couple extra longer, or maybe shorter, or you drove all the way there and not a lot of people came out. That's one thing. But when you're writing the music, you're making the music, if that's not fun, well, I don't even understand what else you're doing.
Yeah. It's everything. The excitement, the energy, it's everything, the potential. What is, let's say, all variables are good, energy is good, what is who is a dream collaboration that you would have?
Ooh,
it's tough because it's like, with that being said, it's just like, would they be fun actually to work with?
I feel like Doechii would be fun.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And I know it's going to be a hit and it's going to be different. I feel like definitely across the board, it probably would be another Black woman. I feel like Black women are just so incredibly creative. Like Janelle Monáe, Brittany Howard. I mean, like, you can't, it's going to be fun because they're freaking weird. All of them, they're weird. They're like, it's going to be a bop. It's going to be this shit. So, and I feel like as a Black woman in this industry, every time I've ever met another Black woman in the music industry, it's always like looking out for each other. It's just kind of like a camaraderie thing. I feel like already we feel so low on the totem pole a lot of times anyway. So we always look out for each other. I have this musician, Jackie Vinson. She is a phenomenal guitar player. She's based out of Austin, Texas. And we started following each other on Twitter several years ago. And just because, like, another Black female musician, but my ability to be able to chat with them and connect with them is so much easier, no matter where they are on that platform sometimes, than like any other person. So I
Right.
just DM'd her, and, you know, she's got thousands and hundreds of thousands of followers. She travels all over. And I can shoot her a DM and say, you know, I have a song. Would you like to be on it? And she's like, yeah, send it to me. And she
Right.
did. And she's gonna be on my upcoming album. So
What?
yeah, very excited. It's a song called Black and Gifted. I just hit her up and I said, I have this idea for this song. Is I just had finished
Oh my
watching
gosh.
the biopic for Bob Marley. And
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
I'm from Delaware. Bob Marley spent some time in Delaware, so we love Bob Marley out in Delaware. And you know, he was a revolutionary, a
Mhm.
civil rights mover and shaker. And on top of the fact that he was a musician, you know, it really was. I feel like when you think about Bob Marley, some people don't. They only know, you know, some of his like really happy hits, but
Right.
he was he was a leader. And I feel the older I get and the more music I make, the more I think about, like, you know, all right, one day I'm gonna be gone and they're gonna listen to my songs, and what if they listen to the whole thing? I really want them to feel more inclined to like stand up for their rights and like love who they are on the inside. So
Mhm.
I wrote this song and I just felt like it just needed a screaming guitar solo because I love guitar music, you know. I just talked about Brittany Howard. It was, you know, one of my favorites, and Janelle
Right.
Monáe had Kalinda playing guitar, and Jimi Hendrix was my first experience with rock music. My first experience with rock music is Black, you know. So yeah, I hit her up. She said, "Hell yeah, let's do it." And now it's one of my favorite songs on the album.
Wow. Well, shit, guys, you just gotta shoot the shot. I mean, whatever.
Yes, you can.
I think on my end, something that we talked about mentorship and stuff, and you've got some of this experience, but an experience that I would really love to have is to work with like a producer, to work with somebody, because I haven't really had that experience. I've had it a little bit, but it's kind of like where you're talking about working with friends. Like when you're working with friends that are producers, you know, then it's like fun. You're in this group project, but then it's like, I would love to work with a producer who like kind of maybe pushes me a little bit, you know, that kind of experience I'm looking to have.
Do you have anybody in mind?
What's that?
Do you have anyone in mind? Do you have like a dream producer that
Well, I do have the Rick Rubin book sitting right here next to my bed. So Rick Rubin is definitely one person that I would, but honestly, anybody, like literally anybody, would be cool. But yeah, Rick Rubin, or even like hell, I mean, even like a hip hop producer that like I think it would be cool to like if. I don't know if I got Dr. Dre or just anybody like that was, I don't know. Just anybody.
if you want a guaranteed hit, Pharrell Williams. That's it. Whatever
yes!
you about to
Yes.
it's about to turn. I promise you that.
Yes. That is actually probably I'm taking that answer, Pharrell probably. And Pharrell and Rick Rubin probably go hand in hand. Now let's talk about your latest collaboration. Before we go, is the Roots Revival. Now, this isn't a band. This is a collective. Walk me through what the Roots Revival really is.
Yeah. The Roots Revival Roadshow is this really cool, fun collective that I started with some friends. We actually like came into flourishing into creation like the week of Kwanzaa. Actually, I just had like a couple other Black musicians, and we were just talking about how, honestly, I know it might sound kind of corny, but just like how proud we are to be Black musicians. It's like, you know, it feels like being a part of this long-standing legacy. You know, everybody in the world is looking to hear what Americans are making as far as like what's trending in music. You know, hip hop is one of the most popular genres in the world now, and it started by Black people in basements in Brooklyn. So we're a part of this thing that's really, really big. And so every day for Kwanzaa, we were going through the principles. Like there's every day of Kwanzaa, there's a new principle, there's a new thing that you talk about. And so going through this, we were like, man, you know what? I think we should like start playing some of this music, some of this Black American music for people, while also introducing our own stories, because there's just so many ways to be Black and beautiful and proud. And I think, the people that I started it with, and it's open to all Black artists. I don't even necessarily think that it has to be, country or folk or roots, just whatever we're making, it is a part of our legacy. So yeah, a collective that kind of travels around in a singer-songwriter style, and then we play some of our favorite classic music by some Black American artists.
And it's just like this organic thing that you never know what you could get on any particular night. You're feeling bluesy one night, you're feeling folky another night, you're feeling jammy. Like, that's the concept. Yeah.
So really, I'm very excited. This first go around, our debut tour is coming up next week. Our first date is on the 12th at Elkton Music Hall in Maryland. Then we got Godfrey Daniels up in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. We're doing Art in Guild Hall and Art in Delaware, and then the listening booth down in Southern Delaware, because I'm a Southern Delaware gal myself.
Yep.
I go down and bring some love to my people. Can't forget where you came from, yo. Don't forget where you came from.
It is the Roots Revival, so you can't forget your roots. It's kind of
your roots. Look, the deeper your roots go, the more better you know, the more grounded you are. The more grounded you are. Know who you are. Can't nobody shake you.
Wow. You can see all of these dates on ShugDaniels.com/tour. We got Roots Revival. We also have Shug's own shows coming in April, where you can get shirts like these.
Hey, look at that.
That are wine dyed. This is and
it's
homemade wine. So I call this DI wine. These shirts are DI wine.
Is it soft?
It is.
Nice on your skin?
It is.
Oh.
It is. It's great. It's great. Yes.
Looks
Pick
good.
up a new shirt. This is amazing that I'm wearing the Shug Daniels shirt and you're wearing the Yell at God shirt from
Yell at God, baby.
Yep. Always build community. And War Park is actually going to share the stage with Yell at God. Oh man. What is that date? I believe in June. I don't have the date off the top of my head. It's in June, so it's down the line. Shug, thank you so much for coming on the show. This was an absolute blast. Definitely everybody check out Shug Daniels YouTube, check out the tour dates, and check out the Bandcamp. And this last song is called Lightning in a Bottle. Lightning in a Bottle. Rip on. Stay creative, everybody.
Here we are, shooting stars, you and me. And you know I love that energy. When we're staring at the future, but we're standing on history. Soaking up the calm before the storm. You know that we've been thirsty since the day we were born. Drinking in the moment till the night becomes the light of the morning. We can get to heaven when the devil's been dealing. We've been at the bottom wondering how to break the ceiling. Woke up from my dreaming with the feeling that it's gonna come true. 'Cause I'm gonna catch some lightning in a bottle with you.
Laying by the water with my arms above me. The world is moving fast, but together we're lucky. Paradise is perfect when you leave it for the birds and the bees.
We can get to heaven when the devil's been dealing. We've been at the bottom wondering how to break the ceiling. Woke up from my dreaming with the feeling that it's gonna come true. 'Cause I'm gonna catch some lightning in a bottle with you.
When we get right inside, there's no more hiding now. We can stand up tall when the rain comes.
Here we are, shooting stars, you and me.
And you know I love that energy.
When we're staring at the future, but heaven when the devil's been dealing. We've been at the bottom wondering how to break the ceiling. Woke up from my dreaming with the feeling that it's gonna come true. 'Cause I'm gonna catch some lightning in a bottle. If we stick together we can really shake tomorrow. I'm gonna catch some lightning in